What's up everyone, I'm Will and welcome to Hollywood Multipass. Netflix just released a 6-part series for Transformers, so let's talk about it. This is Transformers War for Cybertron Siege.
I cannot help but ask myself, is this a hopeless crusade? Have my actions led to the extinction of our people? The Allspark is a vessel of life in the hands of Megatron. There's no telling what he might do.
This animated show is only about 25 minutes long per episode, and there's only 6 parts, so roughly it's like watching a 2.5-hour long movie, which isn't that big of a time investment compared to other shows. The first part of the series focuses on the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons, taking place solely on Cybertron. So if you're a die-hard Transformers fan who's been aching for some Cybertron action, this is it. I've been waiting a long time for an awesome Transformers movie that looks and feels like the original series. Bumblebee came pretty close, but I'm still technically waiting. This series is probably the closest I'm going to get to that, so I'll take it. The war between these two factions has been going on for a while now, and it's brought about the ruin of Cybertron. Things are grim for Optimus Prime and the Autobots, and their numbers are few. The war has taken a huge toll, not just for them, but for Cybertron as a whole. Some characters across both sides are questioning why they're even fighting anymore, if they're on the right side, and if it's worth exterminating the enemy for victory. I love this aspect of the show showing both sides of the conflict and how members of both the Autobots and the Decepticons don't agree with what they're doing. Both sides are fighting for the survival of Cybertron. It's just the method of how they get there is what divides them. It also lightly touches on why the Decepticons despise the Autobots, which I thought was nice. You have to pay attention to get that information, but they do hint at it. I like that they flesh out the bad guys to have cause and reason for hating the Autobots, instead of we're the bad guys just because. They pretty much say we hate Autobots because of this, and that's why we act the way we act. I really enjoyed this series. It's just a little off-putting because I'm so used to the original voice cast, but the new cast does a really fantastic job and you get used to it eventually. I loved seeing the classic designs of some old familiar faces again, like Megatron, Optimus Prime, Wheeljack, Starscream, Jetfire, and some others I won't spoil for you. Seeing them back again for the show is really cool to see, and it makes me want to buy all the toys. I'm such a nerd. I won't do that. Probably. Maybe. There's also other Transformers that don't align with either faction. They're just trying to survive any way they can during this ongoing conflict. Bumblebee is a major character who is exactly like this. I like that he was a scavenger who was not aligned to anyone, just scraping by. It adds a cool aspect to his character. But because of stuff like this, you'll notice a lot of things are slightly different to what you might remember. And that's totally cool with me. It's like a prequel of sorts. They're still learning and turning into the heroes and villains we love. It's almost like a retelling of the classic series for a modern day audience. If this is where this story is eventually going to end up but more fleshed out and developed, then I'm all for it. Honestly, if they added the Transformers theme song from the 80s animated movie, this show would have been perfect. I love that song so much. I'll leave a link below if you want to listen to that 80s Transformers rock masterpiece. I'm not saying that the music is bad in the show. I actually really like the Tron Legacy soundtrack vibe that it has. It surprisingly really fits nicely with the Transformers. I'm just saying if they added the rock version of the theme song, it would have been perfection. I'm glad there's a series that treats the Transformers with respect and cares enough to give them a story worth telling. A story both kids and their parents can enjoy. That's how all kids shows and movies should be. They should have substance to them. I loved watching Batman the Animated Series, Spider-Man, and the X-Men cartoons from the 90s. And rewatching them when I got older only made me love them even more. Because they treated their characters with respect and honored them with great storytelling, great animation, and great voice acting. I still feel like the best depictions of those characters are in those animated shows. War for Cybertron does the same with the Autobots and the Decepticons. It's another great depiction of the Transformers, one I greatly enjoyed. I'm just hoping they don't falter in the next 2 chapters. Speaking of what's to come, I was looking the show up online and I found the synopsis for the 3rd chapter in this trilogy. Let me read it to you. After a freak time travel accident during their voyage home to Cybertron, the Autobots join forces with their descendants, the Maximals, against the Decepticons and their descendants, the Predacons, for the fate of the prehistoric Earth and a surprisingly large amount of energon. This means a crossover with Transformers and Beast Wars, guys. Transformers and Beast Wars. I am so hyped for this, you have no idea. I love this show, and I was just like expecting it to be just Transformers, but now they're gonna do a crossover event with Beast Wars. I'm just, okay, all right, time to calm down. All right, I'm calm, I'm fine. I'm just a little excited, that's all. My boyhood came out. That sounded wrong, I didn't mean like that. Transformers War for Cybertron Siege is an awesome show for Transformers fans, young and old, and I highly recommend it. So I'm giving it a buy. Since it's on Netflix, you don't have to purchase anything, so check it out as soon as you can. And that's my review for Transformers War for Cybertron Siege. Have you seen it? Who's your favorite Autobot or Decepticon? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, like and share the video, and I'll see you next time on Hollywood Multipass.
Autobots, transform and roll out!